Sports cars from Porsche are known to depreciate slightly less than competitors, but does this also apply to the Boxster, a car that sits at the bottom of Porsche's price list, or do you need to spend a multiple for an RS model? Welcome to the market update for the Porsche Boxster. As always on this channel, we'll take a data-driven approach to analyze what happened during last year. The result might surprise you. We start with the oldest generation, the 986, and work our way up to the 718. Over here we have the price trend for the 986s, split by the base and the S models. I didn't split them further by the .1s and .2s, since the differences are small. We can see that despite some minor volatility, prices barely decreased compared to the summer of 2021. The same applies to the decrease during last year. Base models lost 1.9% or $290, and for the S's this is 2.7% or $490. Now these changes are so small that they aren't statistically confirmed and could be the result of chance, something that we'll see more often in the rest of the video. The next example being the 987.1 generation. Over here we have the prices for the base and S models. I excluded the Spiders because supply is too low. Now looking at these trends, we can see that the confidence intervals are wider than in the 986 market. Supply in general is lower, and this increases the price uncertainty. Compared to last year, base models lost 1.2% or $260, and S's gained 3.6% or $890. In reality though, none of the changes are statistically confirmed. Looking at the confidence intervals only, this makes sense, as they are at approximately the same level as last year. Also in the 987.2 market, we need to be careful when we interpret the results. This market is small. Over here we have the price trend split by the base and S models. This shows that before any inflation correction, prices are still at the same level as in November 2020 or even higher. Compared to last year, we're looking at a plus of 4.4% in the Spider market and 1.8% in the S market. Base models lost 6.5%, but yet again, none of these changes are confirmed and can be the result of chance. A visual inspection of the trends reveals then also that prices are at approximately the same level as 1 year ago. Are you still with me after all of those numbers? Don't worry, we'll put them all together after we cover the 981 and the 718. After that, we'll compare them to some other cars. The 981 is perhaps the pinnacle of the Cayman generations, and this shows in the prices. Over here we have the price trend split by the base, S, GTS and Spiders. Starting with the base and S models, we can see that prices drifted down slightly since the pandemic price top, but have been relatively stable during last year. Base models are up by 2.2% and S's are down by 3.9%, but both changes aren't statistically confirmed. Again, if we look at the confidence intervals, this makes sense. The same applies to the Spider and GTS market, but these markets are a lot smaller and shrunk tremendously. There were only 2 clean title GTS's and Spiders for sale, a lot less than the 11 and 19 in July 2021. The price changes of plus 5.8% in the GTS market and plus 1% in the Spider market do then also need to be interpreted with care. In general though, it's fair to conclude that 981s are extremely popular. The price trends are strong, and so is the inventory data. More than 80% of these cars are sold within 3 months. This is higher than for most other models. And that brings us to the 718. In the previous updates we already debunked the myth that these cars are plummeting due to the fact that they come with 4 cylinders. Now, in May 2024, we can see that these strong trends still hold. Over here we have the prices for the base, S and GTS models. I excluded the T's as supply is relatively low. We can see now that prices are considerably lower than at the pandemic price top, but also that depreciation rates flattened during 2023. Base and S models are down by 3.7% or $2.2 and $2.6 thousand. For GTS's this is 3.6% or $2.8 thousand. But yet again, these changes aren't statistically confirmed. And that brings us to, arguably, the best the Boxster has to offer. The 718 6 cylinders. We need to have a chat about these price trends. Over here we have the Spider, GTS 4 liter and 25 years edition. Let's start with the Spider. We can see that prices corrected significantly in 2022. and that this is in line with most other markets. In 2023 though, the correction didn't just end. No, the price trend fully turned. You can see a significant sentiment shift. All of this means that prices are up by 1.8% or $2,300. The shift that you see here is a real development. It applies to cars from all model years and both high and low mileage cars. A trend that is characteristic for the wider Porsche market, but more about that later. Compared to last year, prices are up by 2.2% in the 25 years edition market and down by 2.3% in the GTS 4-liter market. The market for the 25 years edition is small, and this is also reflected in the confidence interval. We therefore need to interpret this number with care. The 2.2% increase is then also not statistically confirmed, and the same applies to all the other numbers in the 6-cylinder 718 market. So we covered now all the trends in the Boxster market, and that means that it's time to put them all together and deduce some insights. Over here we have now the depreciation rates of the last 12 months in orange, and the ones between November 2022 and 2023 in blue. If we focus on the orange bars first, we can see that the average decrease during last year was 0.13%. Basically, all these changes aren't statistically confirmed, meaning that they can be the result of chance. So an average change of 0% matches with these observations. Now comparing the latest price changes to the ones we saw in November 23, we can see that depreciation rates decreased. In the previous market update, the average price change was approximately 4%. This change is visible in all but the 986 market. Now context is vital to understanding these numbers. Car prices increased during the pandemic, topped mid-2022 and decreased in most segments at above average rates up until 2023. During 2023, most rates returned to normal values, but the Boxster is an exception. Over here we have the US year-over-year price changes for almost all cars that feature on my channel. On the horizontal axis we have the price changes compared to last year in percentages, and on the vertical axis we have the number of cars to which this change applies. The average decrease during last year was 7%, and most cars lost between 11 and 2%, with rates of minus 0.8% for the 718, plus 0.4% for the 987, and plus 1.3% for the 981. Many generations belong to the top 25% of cars that lost the least. The 986 is an exception, but still did significantly better than the average. So Boxsters clearly outperformed the market, but we can make this comparison even more specific. 3 months ago I posted a comparison of affordable sports cars, and this revealed that the average rate for sports cars under approximately $80,000 was 7.5%. So even if we factor in some additional flattening of the curves, it's clear that Boxsters did well. Is this a surprise? Not really. If you're a regular viewer, you probably noticed that most sports cars from Stuttgart are on fire. Old and new 911 Carreras, GT models, GTRS models and Caymans are displaying increasing price strength and depreciated less than the competition. You can find the numbers for these cars on the channel. The question is of course, what's driving this? Is it the upcoming hybrid powertrain or is it something else? Perhaps it only applies to the US. I'm including German data in more and more videos, so hopefully we can at least answer this question in the future. Let's wrap up now. We saw that Boxsters held up extremely well during last year and that you don't need a GT3 RS to avoid depreciation. On average, the Boxsters lost only 0.13%. This is lower than the year-over-year change we observed in November 2023 and also lower than the market average. Moreover, and we didn't really talk about this during the video, but most generations, with exception of the 986s, are selling like hotcakes. In May 2024, more than 80% sold within 3 months, and cars that didn't sell were only discounted by a maximum average rate of 3%. And with that we arrived at the end of the video. Now if you enjoy this data-driven way of analyzing car prices, but would like to see a video for a different car, head over to my channel. Over there you'll find data-driven market analysis for a large variety of cars. Can't find the car you're looking for? Let me know the name of the car by commenting it down below in the comment section. Once there are enough requests for a certain car, I'll make a video about it. As always, thank you for watching and I hope to see you next week for a new video.